The Dynasty Podcast brings you an interactive and likely ridiculous segment with borderline on actual legit media. Buckle up your fucking seatbelts for the Dynasty Podcast interactive segment.
And now, on the Tom Berkowitz Trucking Hotline, we are happy to have well-known American toy inventor and inventor of the original Nerf product, Mr. Ren Geyer. Ren, thank you for being on the show.
Absolutely. Glad to be here.
Great. Now, you're obviously a very successful toy inventor, inventing both Nerf and the popular game Twister. Can you talk a little bit about how you got into the toy inventing business and maybe more specifically how you came up with the idea for Nerf?
With the idea for Nerf?
Yes.
Okay. I was in the I was in the business of designing store displays when I came up with the idea that the people could be the players, and that ultimately ended up being Twister. And then I started a company called Windsor Concepts, which was, I put the group together, and we were the group that came up with the idea of using expandable polyester actually, and making different products, toy products out of it. And we took it to Milton Bradley, and they passed on it. They had done the Twister game. We took it to Parker Brothers and showed them a whole bunch of things you could do with foam, and they said we wanted to put out a ball. So they put out a ball, and much to our dismay, and as it turned out, it was a good choice, because the ball became immediately popular, and that led them to wanting to have all of the rights to the foam products, and we developed a lot of new foam products for them, and the Twister line, the Nerf line grew from that.
Great. Mr. Guy, this is Bob here. As an inventor, I'm sure you've had a couple inventions that didn't really pan out the way you thought it might. And on the flip side, you've obviously had a couple that worked out very well for you. Did you ever really imagine that Nerf would take off as well as it did and become a worldwide success?
Well, I'm not sure that we had in mind anything other than it looked like a lot of fun to have products, toys, games, play with foam products. And the use of the expandable polystyrene, really led us to think that it would be fun to play it. When you're developing new ideas and one starts to go a little bit, you rarely have in mind having this be as enormously successful as that.
Right.
You hope that it does well, and you're glad that it started. And then you're on for the ride.
Excellent. What a ride it's been, I'm sure. And Mr. Geyer, most of our listeners here are mainly in their kind of 20s and 30s, which means that we all essentially grew up having some sort of Nerf product or Nerf gun. My favorite Nerf product was actually the Nerf bow and arrow, which came out in 1991. Years of my childhood was spent pegging my brother in the head many times. Do you have a specific Nerf gun or Nerf product that is particularly your favorite?
Well, I guess my real favorite was the Nerf hoop.
Oh, the Nerf hoop, yes.
Which people playing basketball indoors. And of all of them, that would be my favorite. I think it engendered a team playing, or you were always playing it against one other person, or at least if there were more than that in the room, there would be 4 or 5 people playing, and you were all trying to get this little ball through this basket that was hung on top of a door.
Right,
and
right.
So you were really playing hoops, but on a very minimalized area.
All right, great. And some of the Nerf guns that are available today, they're like semi-automatic. They can shoot 20, 30, 40, Nerf bullets at one time. Where do you see Nerf going in the future, considering maybe the technological advances today?
Well, I think the brand Nerf has all sorts of opportunities which have not been, all of them have not been explored.
Okay. Great.
Excellent, excellent. Well, his name is Ren Geyer. He is an American toy inventor and invented many products such as Nerf and Twister. And Ren, I just want to thank you very much for being here on the show today.
Absolutely. Glad to be here.
That was this week's Dynasty Podcast interactive segment.
Well, that's going to wrap up episode number 1 of our pre-draft Tom Berkowitz Trucking Dynasty Podcast. Bub, we really set the standard high here, and that Ren Geyer, one exciting, wonderful gentleman.
He was just so happy.
Yes, he was. I want to thank inventor of Nerf, Ren Geyer, for being on the show, and all of you humpbags for listening.
Don't forget that you can follow the Riverdale Gazette on Twitter or check out the Dynasty Facebook page.
This is Eric Costanza
and Bob Palucha.
And we will see all your asses at the draft this weekend. Over and out.
Peace.